Good morning, Mrs. Jackson's class. This video will help you with lesson 1 problem set for module 4. All right, it says use the RDW to solve problems 1 through 3. Evan put a 2-pound weight on one side of the scale. How many 1-ounce weights will he need to put on the other side of the scale to make them equal? And then we have a hint here that says 1 pound equals 16 ounces. All right, so we know that he has 2 pounds. So that in my tape diagram, I would have 2 boxes, and inside each box would be 16 ounces. I want to know what is 16 plus 16 or 16 times 2, and that would give me the total ounces. So if I did 16 times 2, I would get 32 ounces. So how many 1-ounce weights will he need? He will need 32 1-ounce weights. So I'll type it in here. Evan will need 32 1-ounce weights. Number 2, Julius put a 3-pound weight on one side of the scale. Abel put 35 1-ounce weights on the other side of the scale. How many more 1-ounce weights does Abel need to balance the scale? So let's start here with what we know. Julius put a 3-pound weight. So we know that 3 pounds. So I need a tape diagram with 3 boxes. And we already learned that 16 ounces equals a pound. So here's 16, 16, 16. That's Julius's, and we'll put a J here for him. And Abel, we know that he has just 1 box, and it's 35 ounces. And I know it's going to be shorter because they want to know how many more do I need to put here to make them balanced, to make them equal. So that's my question mark. So then what is 16, 16, and 16 are 16 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18, and then 3 plus 1 is 4, 48. 48 is not my answer. That's how many ounces Julius has, but Abel has 35. So how many more? So 35 plus what number would get me to 48? And if you can't count up in your head, you could always subtract, put the bigger number on top, 48 minus 35, and you would get 13. So Abel needs 13 more 1-ounce weights. Abel needs 13 more 1-ounce weights. Number 3. Mrs. Upton's baby weighs 5 pounds and 4 ounces. How many total ounces does the baby weigh? Well, in my tape diagram, I would have to have 5 boxes for 5 pounds. And in each box, I know it's 16. And then I had that extra 4 ounces. So that's a very small part of the box over here with a 4. So I need 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 4. I could do 16 times 5 to make that easier, because 5 pounds, or there's 5 boxes in the tape diagram. This is a 16, this is a 16. They're all 16s. So 5 times 6 is 30. And then 80 plus, and then I have that small 4 here. So 80 plus 4 would be 84. So how many total ounces does the baby weigh? The baby weighs 84 total ounces. And I could type that in there. And let me erase the purple so you can see it. And let me fix spelling weighs. The baby weighs 84 total ounces. All right, number 4, complete the following conversion tables and write the rule under each table. So she helped us out already. We know that 16 ounces equals a pound. So all we need here to do is multiply. So you're going to click in the box. 7 times 16 equals, and you can use your calculator, you can figure that any way you want, but that would be 112. And then 10 times 12 equals, and that would be not 12. 10 times 16, and that would equal 160. And the rule for converting pounds to ounces is multiply by 16. All right. I gave examples with the yellow boxes. Please complete the blue boxes. All right. So feet to inches. So we know that there's 12 inches in a foot. So each time I'm going to have to multiply by 12. So 2 times 12 would be 24. 10 times 12 would be 120. And so I multiply by 12 to go from feet to inches. All right, yards. I know that there are 3 feet in a yard, so I have to multiply by 3. So if I'm multiplying 2 by 3, I'm going to get 6, and 10 by 3 will give me 30, and 14 by 3 will give me 42. All right, solve. 3 feet 1 inch equals how many inches? So most of the time you're going to want to you can do a tape diagram for this. We know that 3 feet and inside each box would be 12 because there's 12 inches in 1 foot. And then we had 1 little inch left over. So it'd be 12 and another 12 and another 12. So 12 times 3, which is 36. And then 1 more because we had 1 inch left over, and that would be 37. So inside my box there, I would type 37 inches. I don't know why it keeps doing that. 11 feet 10 inches. So again, we're going from feet and inches, just 2 inches. So to get from feet to inches, I have to multiply by 12. So it'd be 11 times 12, or I could draw a tape diagram. And then put my place value, 1 times 1, 1 times 1, and I add, and that's 132. But I still have these 10 inches left, so I have to add those 10 inches, and I get 142. So I'll type in 142 inches. And if it's not long enough, you just pull the middle box. There you go. She did that one for us. 27 pounds, 10 ounces equals how many ounces? Well, we learned earlier that there are 16 ounces in a pound. So I have to do that. I have to multiply that by 27. So 27 times 16. We're working right here on E. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 4 is 16. And then I cross this out. 1 times 7, 1 times 2, and then I add 13, and that would be 4. That's not my answer because I still have 10 more ounces, so I would have to add them, and I would get 442 ounces. And so I click here in the box and write 442, and just pull it if you need it a little longer. 18 yards, 9 feet. And so we learned in the other one that there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So I'll have to multiply by 3. 18 yards times 3 will give me how many feet? So I have 8 times 3 is 24, and then 5. But that only tells me 18 yards, but I still have 9 more feet, so I'll have to add 9. And I get 63 feet. And so I can click here in the box and type 63. All right, 14 pounds, G is 14 pounds, 5 ounces. And so we know that we have to go from pounds to ounces, and that's multiplying by 16. So I had 14 pounds, and to make that ounces, I have to multiply by 16. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 1 plus 2 is 8. I put my 0 here for my place value holder. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1, and then I add 224. However, I'm not done because I still have 5 more ounces. So 224 plus 5 would be 229. I'll just pull that. And the last one is the trickiest because if you're noticing, it says 5 yards, 2 feet equals how many inches. So we're not going to feet this time. We're going to have to convert twice. First, we have to convert to only feet, and then we have to convert the feet to inches. This is a tricky one. And so we're going to need to do 2 conversions. And it says 5 yards, 2 feet. So we know there are 3 feet in a yard. So 5 times 3 gives me 15 feet. But I saw 2 more feet. So that gives me a total of 17 feet. But they're not asking for the answer in feet, they're asking for in inches. So to get from feet to inches, I had to multiply by 12 because there are 12 inches in 1 foot. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 1 plus 1 is 3. I put the 0 as my placeholder. I cross this out because I used it. 1 times 7, 1 times 1, and then I can add. And I'll get 204 inches. So I'll need to type in 204. Remember, if it doesn't fit, just pull that box. All right, last one, 6. It says, answer true or false for the following statements. If the statement is false, change the right side of the comparison to make it true. Okay, and so we have to determine if these are true or false, and then if they're not, we will need to change them. So 2 kilograms is greater than 2,600 grams or 2,600. Well, kilograms, 1 kilogram equals 1,000. So if I have 2 kilograms, that would be 2,000 grams. So is 2,000 grams bigger or greater than 2,600 grams? And that answer would be false because 2,000 is not bigger. So we're going to write false. But if I want to change that on the right side, I would have to put 3 kilograms is greater than 2,600 grams. I'm just going to pull this box to make it a little bigger so we can see it. There we go. And I'll put a space between there. If it'll let me. There we go. Okay. And if I pull a little bit more, I wonder if it'll fit. There we go. All right, B. 12 feet is less than 140 inches. So we know that there are 12 inches in a foot. And if I have 12 feet, it would be 12 times 12. Most of you know that fact family. It would be 144 inches. So is 144 inches less than 140 inches? And the answer to that would be no. So again, this would be false. And I just realized that I changed the wrong side of this one. It says change the right sides. Let's go back here. And I'll say 2 kilograms can be greater than 1,600 grams. And then false, we need to change this one. So I would say 144 inches is less than 150 inches. And I'll just pull this here. And then it says 10 kilometers equals 10,000 meters. And so if you look at the conversion in the yellow box that Mrs. Jackson gave for you, it says that 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters. So if I have 10 kilometers, 10 times 1,000 would be 10,000 because I have to multiply by 10. So 10 times 1,000 would be 10,000. And does that equal 1,000 meters? And that answer is true. So I don't need to change anything because 10,000 meters equals 10,000 meters. And that's it. All right. Thank you.